Hello, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depends where you are joining from. Thanks for joining in early for today product demo. I do still see people joining in, so let's wait a couple of minutes before we start today's presentation. So thanks again, appreciate your patience on this. Okay, I think we are on the right time, 1 minute past. Again, good morning, good afternoon, depends where you are joining from. My name is Chikin Law, or you all can address me as CK. I am the Inside System Engineer from Veeam. So I'm going to present the topic today, Secure Offsite Backup in second, which is our new Veeam offering, Veeam Data Cloud Vault. Okay, before I move into the actual presentation of to the product, so there's some housekeeping rules for today. All of you has been automatically muted upon entry into today's webinar, but not worry. If you have any question throughout my presentation or demo, please feel free to use the GoToWebinar Q&A chat options, put in your question, and I will address it at the end of the sessions. Right, I'm sure that we will get every time we will get questions from our attendees that whether you will be getting the copy of the slide of the recording, and the answer is yes. We will post it and send it to you after the sessions. So do check out on your mailbox if you register for this mailbox for this webinar, and you should get a copy of it after the session ended. Okay, let's move on into the today's topics. Just give me a moment. Yep. Okay, to start, it's important to recognize that the data is the lifeblood of every business and presents increasingly complex challenge for organizations like yours to manage. As data export year on year and sprawl across multiple cloud, countless endpoint and geographic locations, Veeam is tracking two emerging threats to data resilience. The first is vendor lock-in. To keep data resilience, you need the ability to move your data easily to new application or platforms, especially as the industry tracks aggressive vendor price increases, sending budget spiraling. The second is the increasing volume and sophistication of ransomware, a costly problem, especially when you consider that 27% of organizations who paid a ransom still couldn't recover their data based on our research. Ransomware and hackers are more popular than ever nowadays. Therefore, one of the most important things is that every company must have a solid backup strategy. And you may very often seen about the 3-2-1 golden rules with Veeam. Well, we recommend every customer to go even one step further by applying the golden 3-2-1 and 1-0. We call this Veeam postcode. And what is mean by the 3 in the 3-2-1-1-0? Maintain at least 3 copy of your data. By 3 copy, I mean that in addition to your production data, you should have at least 2 more backups. Having just one backup does not provide the necessary level of safety in today's environment. And the two is to store the backup on 2 different media. Again, it's not always recommended to store the 2 copy of your backup on the same type of storage media. The better approach is to store one of the copies on internal hard disk drive and the other copy on a different kind of storage media, for example, tape, external hard disk, and maybe a cloud object storage. And the one of the golden rules is that you should store at least 1 copy of at an offsite location. It's highly recommended to keep at least 1 copy of the backup away from the physical location where your primary data and primary backup is located. It's not a good idea. I'm sure you'll agree that to keep that second copy at the same physical location. Why? Just imagine when disaster happen like fire, flood, or earthquake, all your backup data may get destroyed together with your production data, and you will have no backup from which you can restore your data. And the additional one which come under the Veeam postcode is that you should also keep at least 1 copy of your data offline. Again, it's recommended to keep one of the copy always offline in case a hacker has access into your environment. Everything with an online connection can in high risk. Therefore, we strongly recommend to have a backup offline so a hacker have nowhere to access to it, which we also call it an air gap backup. The example is the rotating external USB disk, tape, or object storage with immutability. And the final 0 is to be sure that you have a verified backup without error. In reality, backups are only valuable if they are being verified to be able to recover. Typically, all backup need to be monitored and any error need to be solved as soon as possible. Veeam Show Backup features will be a perfect example to help in this case. As you can see, cyber threat continues to increase, especially against backup data. The need to have a appropriately secure backup data is paramount. Veeam Vault has been architected to strict zero trust data resilience standard to ensure backup data is aligned to the 3-2-1-1-0 rules and resilience against cyber threats, while it also eliminates the challenge of management and unpredictable pricing as well. Next, I want to dig into the fact that ensuring the storage is as resilient as required is not an easy job. This is true not just for the self-managed storage on premises like your block storage days, but also for the object storage on the public cloud platform. There are some reasons to ensure resilience is not simple. The first one is that because it can be a bit complex to set up and manage a backup system in the cloud. It takes some work to make sure that it's always ready and able to receive the backup. So you need to properly configure it yourself. The second is storing data securely in the cloud means following certain best practice like keeping it separate from other systems and controlling who has access and making sure that it is properly encrypted and protected as well. And the third reason is that there can be an unexpected cost with storing data in the cloud. It's not just the cost of the storage itself, but also the fees for making things like making changes to the data or accessing it. Organization or our customer need an easier way to use cloud storage for their backup. And that's really why we have developed Veeam Vault to ensure that there is a tailor-made secure cloud storage made easy for our customer, and it's been purposely built to receive the backup from the Veeam Data Platform. So you could easily align with that 3-2-1 rules. Have a secure copy of your backup store offsite in Azure has just become incredible easy now. Veeam Vault essentially is a fully managed secure cloud storage on Azure that designed to eliminate the headache of managing infrastructure and unpredictable cloud cost model. You just let Veeam know how much you need it, and we handle the rest for you. And firstly, let's look at it from a security perspective. Veeam Vault is essentially logically air gap and separate your backup from production, and at the same time maintain secure access control. Veeam Vault check that box as well. When it comes to immutability and encryption, both are always on by default and cannot be turned off when it comes to Veeam Vault. We want to make sure that the data is as resilient as possible. So the immutable is always there to prevent bad actor from encrypting, modifying, or deleting your data. But that encryption is critical as well because we are seeing, ransomware attack most evolved compared to what there were 10, 12, or 15 years ago. That data exfiltration because they're realizing and they are targeting this backup that has been in place on a immutable state, so they can't do their bad work there. So instead, they might attempt to intercept the data, download it, or store it on a thumb drive, and hold your ransom by saying they're going to leak your sensitive information. Well, with Veeam Vault, it's always encrypted as well, and only you will hold those key for that encryption, and not the bad actor. And not only that, the bad actor will not see the data you place in the Veeam Vault. Neither can Veeam as well. So it's critical from a data privacy perspective. Now, why would that matter to you, right? Configuring immutability actually is a bit of work, and making sure that you are not logically separating the data and making it immutable, but putting it in a different subscription owned by a different tenant, potentially different vendor who takes the responsibility is a nice thing. Make sure that the data is always encrypted, of course, is the key. And you are not able to send data that is not encrypted there. From a Veeam perspective, what happened is always encrypted, meaning we cannot see your data. Only you, your Veeam backup and replication server can read it. And as the cyber threat continue to increase, especially against an organization's backup data, the need to appropriately secure backup data is paramount. Software uh, storage as a service architects to strict security standard ensure user backup data is resilient against cyber threat through immutability, logical air gap, access control, and more. We also make it extremely easy as it's pre-configured, fully managed by Veeam that integrated with Veeam Data Platform solution. So you don't need to have this cloud or security or sometimes even skill set. It's just literally click and go, which I'm going to show you that in a moment during the demo. But you can go from having no secure offsite backup strategy to a secure offsite backup in 5 minutes and start writing your first backup to Veeam Vault again, built on Microsoft Blob Storage. Veeam Vault are in version 2, and we are offering up to 12.9 of durability on Azure Blob, leveraging the ZRS or Zone Redundant Storage in Advanced Edition. And then when you think about its availability, right? Azure has 11 nines of durability, and from a security perspective, it's fully managed solution. Backup storage infrastructure often deal with large volume of data that require careful planning for growth, security, and cost. as well as ongoing management and maintenance. Fully managed software storage as a service eliminates this burden from the end user point, making setup, ongoing management incredibly simple for our customer. And again, just want to highlight the fact that it's predictable. When we're dealing with cloud storage, and especially for backup, there are multiple things that we have to consider from a customer perspective. Is the cost of the storage, the cost of the transaction from a write and read perspective, some of the tier like data retrieval fees, as well as egress from a recovery perspective, right? Something going wrong, I got to be able to retrieve the data out of the cloud. Typically backup to on-prem for Veeam customer and be able to recover my data. With Veeam Vault, we take all those variable price point and consolidate it under one simple or inclusive, easy to understand price point. It's very easy to seamlessly and add more capacity as you grow with very simple quarterming, and we build that on Azure Cool tier. Whereas you could still have that high backup and restore performance while balancing with the cost. And we talk about predictability. This is about making it simple. So you have per terabyte pricing, and there is a window how much you can download on that as well. And don't have to worry about the extra ABI charges. Controlling costs continue to top enterprise and SMB to do list alike. Consuming storage as a service is a cost competitive model that includes not just the storage itself, but also necessary read or write requests. And egress help make pricing not cheaper, but much more predictable. So for Veeam Vault, currently we are on version 2. So there are 2 editions of it with the simple, predictable pricing, as you can see on my screen. So we have the foundation, which is $14 per terabyte per month, and as well as the advanced, which is $24 per terabyte per month. So what are the difference between these 2 editions? Both of it are actually utilizing the Azure Cool Block Storage, and with the foundation, we are actually utilizing the locally redundant LRS, locally redundant storage, which you have the 11 nines of durability, whereas advanced, we are utilizing the ZRS zone redundant storage, where you multiple copy are stored between the different data center in the same zone. That's why you are able to achieve the 12-9 durability. Okay, and apart from that, when it comes to foundation, you can choose the country where you want to store your backup data. Whereas for advanced, you can choose the region that you wanted to store your backup data. Then it will be replicated over to a different data center within that region. Whereas for foundation, you choose that data center on the particular country, so there will be one copy in that data center, but then he will replicate between 3 different storage on that data center. As I mentioned earlier, immutable and encrypted is always on for both the editions. And the last difference between these 2 editions are the read-write. For foundation, there is a fair use policy where when it comes to read-write, Veeam only cover up to 20% of the total storage that you subscribe. For example, if you subscribe 10 terabyte per month for the year, so throughout the year, you will only able to restore 2 terabyte for free, right? If you exceed that, there was certain pricing that the cost will need to bear between yourself. Whereas for advanced edition, there is unlimited read and restore. So you can restore as many as you want throughout the subscription. There will be no charges at all because it's all covered by Veeam for you as well. Okay, when it comes to the slide, I think that's all that I wanted to show through the presentation. Let's move into the demo to show you how easy for it to configure the Veeam Vault. Let me just give me some time to switch my screen. Okay, so if you guys were still familiar with Veeam, this is actually our Veeam and backup replication console, right? And what you can see now is actually all my job. So how easy is it to configure your Veeam Vault into this Veeam data platform or the VBR console? Of course, first you need to subscribe to Veeam to purchase how many terabyte that you want. So you will have another dashboard, which I will going to show you now. So this is the Veeam Data Vault dashboard. Of course, if you are resubscribed with Veeam, if you are a valid licensed administrator, you will be able to log in into the web page and view your subscription. For example, now here is 5 terabyte that I have subscribed with Veeam Vault. For your information, this is again our demo environment. So the information that you see here might not be accurate based on the consumption of it. So again, this is the how the dashboard look like. And if I go under the setting, if you already subscribed, you will be all this information is already populated. Who are the contact person? What are the PO information? And what is your company or company of your country based in? And then you can also set who are the users who are able to access into this Veeam Vault. But you don't worry, you are not able to view the data, even though if you are the valid user for that, because it's all managed by Veeam. You're just able to view the subscription when you logging into this portal. So under the subscription, you're able to view what are the addition that you have purchased and what are the storage that you purchased, when is your start date or end date, right? And the payment informations. Okay, each of the customer you will be assigned a storage account if you subscribe with Veeam, so you can view it under here. And then you can choose to create additional vault, or we call it a storage vault, because if you purchase, for example, 5 terabyte, so you might want to split it into a different folder, or you call it a different vault, so that you can use it to store different type of backup, or maybe you want to split the backup into different department, you will be able to do that. So you can retrieve the key here, and then you can use it to add the storage into the Veeam Data Platform console, right? You can add in another word if you want to. So the total usage consumption must not exceed the total storage that you purchase. So you can create as many as you want, but all the total usage of it must not exceed your total storage that you have purchased. Let me move back to the Veeam backup console. So if you go under the backup infrastructure, if you are on version 12 onwards, when you add the repository, you will see an additional option here, which is the Veeam Data Cloud Vault, right? If you just click on that, just give a name to it. When you add the repository, I just use demo Vault for these purposes. I go under next. So if you are using version 12.3, we have a new features where you just need to authorize your backup server to connect to the Veeam Vault. But if you are using version 12.2 and below, you will still have the option to put in the key, which I'm showing you just now. Just give me a moment. Yeah, so you can receive the key here, and then you use this key to connect to the storage vault that you want. But if you're using version 12.3, you don't need to do that. Just with the valid license admin, when you log in into the portal, you just authorize it. See, you will be able to log in into the Veeam portal with your valid license admin details. Then it will automatically connect it to the vault. But of course, there's some setting that need to be done to activate your vault with your backup server. I'm not able to show it here because it's already been activated. So let me just show you a simple another screen which I have that. Just give me a moment. So this is how it look like. Similarly, like what you can see, I know the screen might be a bit small, so I will paste it on the chat. So in case if you want, you can just uh, click on it later on to have a view. Okay, I'll repaste that on the chat so you can just click on it to have a view later on if you want. So similarly, when I look into the Veeam Backup and Application Console, I add a new repository. I select Veeam Data Vault. Then as what I've shown just now, you just give a name to the repository that you want. You just click next. So this here you go. You authorize the backup server to connect to your Veeam Vault, then you will be prompted to log in into your using your license administrator at the Veeam portal. Then you will be able to view your subscription under the Vault subscription. It depends what are the capacity that you purchase and what is the region that you created. And again, this is the part where you fill in all your organization informations. What are your country, who are your contact person, all this your organization details. And then you select the region. It depends what are the edition that you purchase. For this example, it's actually an advanced edition. So I'm able to choose the country and then the storage location because it's actually based on the region. So this example, I'm selecting the US and then I choose the storage location on the US supported regions. And then you will have to come back to the portal here and select the backup server and activate your backup server to the Veeam Vault. You just need to toggle to enable this option, then it will be connected to your between your backup server and your Veeam Vault storage. Then again, you'll move back to the Veeam Backup and Replication console to continue to set up your Veeam Vault as the backup repository. Let me just move back here. Yep, so what you can see is actually similarly, because just now I'm just showing you how do you authorize it. If I move to next, so you see here, you can select the folder that you want. Actually, this is the storage vault to store your backup data. And you can see here, you can also control the storage consumption. So maybe this one, you purchase 5 terabyte, but you want this one of the repo do not use more than 2 terabyte. So you can set it here so that he will not overuse the consumption of your Veeam Vault because you can set multiple storage vault under one subscription. And again, you can see here, when it comes to immutability, it's always on. I will not unable to disable this. So you need to set the immutable minimum 1 day. You at least you will have to have, but then you have to tally back together with your backup retention. If you don't set too long, whereas your backup retention is too short, else they will not able to delete it until the immutability expired. I'll just cancel off this one. I'll just show you one of the example which already been configured. This is the property of my Veeam Vault has been configured. It's already authorized the backup server, and this is my storage vault, which you can see just now on the data vault portal. After you log in using your license administrator, so I just limit my storage consumption to 1 terabyte for this repository, and then immutable I set it 30 days. So I'm unable to disable this immutability. And then the others are similar. You just create what are the mouse server, and then you will be able to review all those services, and that's it. You will be able to view the Veeam Vault added into your backup repository. So some of you might question, where is the encryption? When you mentioned the encryption and immutability is always on. So let's move on into the home. Let's try to create a backup job. I'll choose Hyper-V for this case. So I just call it demo. Next, I just select my Hyper-V virtual machine. So there are some of the VM. I just select one Linux and one Windows machine. I add it in. I move on to the next. So I just choose the repository as the Veeam Vault. right? And you set the retention, how long do you want the backup to be retained. So I'll just move next. Oops, you see, I will get the error. Why? Because I have not enabled the encryption. So in order for you to store your backup on the Veeam Vault, you must enable the encryption. So you just click OK. I just click at once. You go under the storage. Yes, you must enable the encryption and give a password to it, right? That's why I mentioned just now that you know the key because you hold and you set the password for your encryption. So if I just set it here, for example, this encryption, and I press OK. Now only I will able to proceed further. Without encryption, I'm not able to create the job to back up that particular virtual machine on the Hyper-V as well. So I'll just cancel off this one. Just want to show you the encryption, and you hold the encryption key. And when it comes to immutability, it's always on. You are not able to disable it. So let me move back to the slide because that's all that I wanted to show when it comes to the demo. Okay, let me further continue with the slides. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the use case for Veeam Vault that can come in handy for a single Veeam backup and replication server or a single console. You can target a single Veeam Vault subscription with multiple storage account if you are looking to separate your backup. For example, HR and the finance, they do not want their backup to be stored on the same location, or even with a single subscription, you can have multiple storage account in multiple region. Not necessarily everything is on the same region. Yeah, if you have the advanced, so you can choose one storage vault on Southeast Asia, another one maybe on the America or even on East Asia region. It depends on your data locality. We keep the data as close as possible to where you would need it. And if you have any sort of compliance, for example, GDPR, so keeping your data in a specific country, well, that's another use case for having multiple storage account under a single Veeam Vault subscription as well. And if you are using a robot office, for example, multiple VBR or console in different location, then all your VBR can write to a single Veeam Vault subscription as well. You can create multiple storage accounts to store those backup target to a different location within that subscription as well, as you can see on my slide here. Well, so if you need more information or clarification regarding our Veeam Vault, feel free to scan the QR code when you get the slide later, so you can request for an additional meeting with our sales representative for further discussion. And if you need more information about the Veeam Vault, you can also scan the QR code as well, where you will be prompted to another information site where you give you more information about our Veeam Vault storage. I mean, you maybe want to clarify about the calculation of the storage or the licensing part as well. So it can be done when you get the slide, scan on it. So I guess that's all for my presentation and the demo for today. Let's see if there's any question which I can address for today attendees. Yes, I do have some questions. Just give me some time to go through it. Okay, the first question from Romeo. So I think I did address at the beginning of the session. Yes, this has been recorded and you will receive a copy of the recording as well as the presentation slide after the session. Do look out through your mailbox for it. Okay, for check feed 3, yes, the slide, yes, we will be shared to you. And when we share the slide and the recording with you, you will have the contact. So you can feel free to reply to that. Or if you know your Veeam sales representative, please feel free to get in touch with them. Then they can get back to you for more clarification as well. Okay, from Anthony, can you explain the context of fair use in standard plan? Okay, we have two addition here, one which is the foundation, another one which is the advanced. So there's no charges, additional charges when it comes to advanced, right? I think I did explain that. When it comes to foundation addition, Veeam will only cover 20% of the read write charges, right? As you know that if you're storing it on the cloud, when you retrieve data, there will be some API charges or egress charges, right? So for example, like I give just now during my demo, if you purchase 10 terabyte or you subtract 10 terabyte per month for throughout the whole year. So when you want to retrieve or restore back your data, you only allow to restore up to 2 terabyte for the entire year, which is the 20% of the 10 terabyte. So if you restore more data or you retrieve more data than 2 terabyte throughout your subscription for that year, Veeam reserve the right to charge you for all any additional uh, cost for the API or egress charge, because we're storing data on the Microsoft Azure cloud storage. So Microsoft will charge Veeam as well. But when it comes to advanced, Veeam cover everything for you. But when it's foundation, we only cover up to 20% it for you. So if you more than that, that Veeam, Microsoft will charge Veeam, then Veeam will just bill back to our customer. And next, Veeam Data Cloud is a service that resides on a Veeam Cloud server. No, we are actually utilizing Microsoft Azure block storage. So we are just getting the storage from there, fully manage it for our customer so that you can continue to use Microsoft Azure block storage, but you do not need to engage Microsoft for it. Veeam is managing it for you. And the second part of the question, is there an option to install Veeam Data Vault application on our local on-premises service? No, it's actually fully on cloud. So you can't install and you don't need to install anything. You just purchase through Veeam and just use it. Any prerequisite to subscribe and Veeam services or product before you can use Veeam Data Cloud Platform? Okay, at this point of time, Veeam Data Vault only support Veeam Data Platform. So if you are using Veeam Data Platform or you are backing up anything using Veeam backup application, you can store it on the Veeam Vault. Again, from next is the backup repository equals to source of server to backup. If I get you correctly, backup repository is the place where you store the backup data. So for Veeam Vault, you only use to store whatever data they have backup using Veeam onto the cloud. Okay, from Mr. Azmin, is it possible to backup to specific file or folder, or is it meant to backup the whole server? Okay, when it comes to backup, similarly to under Veeam, you can choose whether you want to backup the whole server or just specific file or folder. But this Veeam Vault is just a storage. So wherever that you backup using Veeam, you can store it on this. So it doesn't matter whether you backup the entire server or you backup the file or folder. We are just storing the backup data on the Veeam Vault if you have backup with Veeam. Are there from Mr. David, are there any governing policy for Veeam in terms of data privacy? Yes, we do have that. So do check out the QR code which I showed earlier. You scan on that, you will get more information on that. And if you are unable to find it there, do engage our Veeam representative. They will be able to share more information with you on that. From Mr. Kelvin, 100% confirm there's no way to disable the immutable function. But if my storage is almost full and I would like to delete backup without purchasing additional storage. Yes, as you can see just now during my demo, there's no way you can disable the immutability. So you need to do a proper planning and calculation on that. What are the storage that you use? But not to worry, if you have been using almost 75% of your storage, you'll be starting to get a notification for it. Okay, from Mr. Romeo, in scenario where the main DC fail, what steps are needed to restore from Veeam Vault? Okay, just take it. Veeam Vault is just another storage which is stored on the cloud. So if your main DC fail, if I get your question correctly, you will just restore it like as per normal, restore it to another location of your production data, depends where is your DR site. just take it as a storage that you will be able to restore it back. But where do you want to restore it? Up to you. Okay, from Mr. Melvin, what is the maximum date of immutable can set in Veeam? Okay, based on date, you can set 9,999 days. But again, you set the immutable the longer, which means that you will not be able to delete throughout that period. And then your storage consumption will be very high. So you need to match back your backup retention as well. You don't set your immutability 99 days, but then your backup retention is 14 days. After 14 days, you will not be able to delete. So it will still consume some storage there. Okay, from Mr. David, so advanced cover full restore of all data. Yes, that's correct. When it comes to advanced, you just pay for the price per terabyte per month. That's it. You don't need to worry about any other additional charges when it comes to recovery. Okay, from Mr. Benjamin, how about the DR? Can we restore the backup to Azure VM? Yes, you can, because the data is actually storing on Microsoft Azure Blob Storage. So when it comes to recover to the Azure VM, in terms of the speed, yeah, it will be much faster because the data is already reside in Microsoft environment. Real backup time available from Mr. Liu. No, from Veeam, this doesn't. Veeam Vault is actually just a storage. You will still need to utilize Veeam backup to backup or VBR I should say Veeam Data Platform to backup your production. Then only you will be able to store it on the Vault. It's not a real-time backup. To be frank, yeah. Would you share the additional cost above 20% of the read operation per year? Is it feasible to get the foundation option if we need to get the feature up to 40 to 50%? So as of now, we do get questions from that, but we are still not sure how much Microsoft will charge us during the read write restore when it comes to recovering of data. So I'm sorry, I can't give you a figure of that, but that's what, as per the information been told, that we only cover up to 20%. It all depends on the charges from Microsoft side. Yes, I do agree with you. Yeah, a lot of customers asking that what is the charges of that. So in case if you really need to restore more, or then we will recommend you just go for advanced, so that you do not want to have a bill shock when it comes to the month end or the year end when it comes to the billing options. Okay, from Mr. Wong, is there a minimum internet bandwidth requirement? No, because Veeam, we just transferring the data from the on-prem to it. Again, recommended the higher speed will be better performance. Depends, but at least minimum 1 megabyte line were good enough. But if you want a better performance, we encourage to have at least 20 meg line to transfer it to the cloud. Okay, from Mr. Benjamin, what is the minimum subscription storage, 1 TB or 5 TB? Okay, for Veeam, minimum 5 TB. And it got to be a 1 year subscription, yeah. Okay, from Mr. Melvin, if existing immutable already set to 1 year, after a few months, what will happen? I change it to 1 day. Okay, if you already set it to 1 year, there's no way you can change it, right? That's the beauty of it. So you need to be very careful when it comes to planning on that, or else every day you will be changing it, then it's actually not immutable anymore if you can change it, right? Okay, from Mr. Ferdinand, can this be considered an offline backup too? Yes, you can consider this as an offline because it's an offsite and it's not connected to your production data. Even though you store your data there, but it's encrypted and immutable. Okay, thank you for your comment, Mr. Anthony. And from Mr. Jason, how often will you review your pricing for the Veeam Vault subscription so that we can budget accordingly? I'm sorry, I do not have the answer for you. As of now, for this year, I think the pricing will still be the same. So it will only change maybe next year. You know that nothing is fixed forever. So it all depends on the market. So I don't have the answer for you. Sorry about that. Okay, from Nazrin, how complicated is the backend network configuration to link the Vault firewall port? Yep, we do have the user guide to show it to you, what are the port needed and what are the things that you need to set, but it's a minimum, right? Because it actually connection to the Microsoft Azure side, and on the Azure side, everything is already pre-configured for you. You just purchase through Veeam, then you just need to open the certain port, or you actually utilizing the internet connection. That will be good enough. You don't need to configure any specific things or any complicated thing. That's the reason that we're having that storage as a service. We want to make the life simple for our customer. Okay, thank you, Mr. Jason, for all those comments. I hope I have addressed all the queries. And let's wait for another minute to see if there's any more questions coming in. Appreciate all the questions that are coming in to show the interest in our Veeam Vault. Okay, I think I just got another from Mr. Melvin. If my yearly backup retention is 5 years, I need to set 5 years in immutable and VBR. So the first year data can delete in 5 years, but how about following years? Okay, again, it depends on your compliances. You not necessarily need to set the immutable according to your retention. You can have your retention 5 years, but maybe you just want the immutable for 1 month, right? But anyhow, after 1 month or so, it will not be deleted because it's still protected using your retention. That all depends on your planning of your backup strategy, right? Because you will have a full backup and then follow it by incremental, so you might not need all the backup to be immutable. Maybe just the newest version or for the 1 month, because whenever you recover your data, I don't think you will recover those old data unless maybe for audit purposes or there any some disaster, or even during disaster, so you will want the latest backup to be restored. So it's important to secure your latest data in immutability or rather than the old data. Okay, I got another question from Mr. Anthony. Is it possible for us to set the retention or immutability period above our subscription eligibility? Yes, you can set that because our subscription is per year. You can set it for a longer retention period, but of course, if you do not continue with the subscription of the data, it's logic that we will not keep the data for you, right? So you need to continue with the subscription. Then only we will continue to keep your data on our storage as well. Okay, from Mr. Kelvin, if I delete my Veeam account, would it delete my immutable backup too? So when you mean your Veeam account, is that your Veeam storage, which means that you will stop your subscription with Veeam Vault? So if that's the case, yes, it will delete your data. Because again, we will not keep your data if you do not continue to subscribe for us, because in logic, right, the storage all need money to keep for the storage. Yeah. Okay, is there a grace period of keeping data before they are finally deleted? Okay, from my understanding, if you decided to stop the subscription, you will have the grace period of 30 days to restore it back before Veeam fully delete it. No problem. Thank you, Mr. Anthony. Okay, again, I hope I have answered all your queries, but if it's not satisfied with some of it, or you want more clarification, please feel free to engage the Veeam sales representative to have a further discussion, or you want to have a one-to-one session with our Veeam sales representative for further discuss. Yes, please feel free to do so. And if there's no further question, thank you so much for all your participation today. I really appreciate all the questions. I hope my session is beneficial to all of you. And thank you. And if I have a nice day, I hope to see you again in the future Veeam product demo. Thanks again. Thank you.